The action on top of Onigashima is absolutely incredible right now, and in One Piece chapter 1003, Oda gives us more. But in this chapter, we also get some updates on what else is going on the island, and specifically, we find out about the involvement of CP0. And we will get into all that and break all that down, what CP0's role in Wano is, everything that happened with Luffy, Zoro, and Kaido. But as always, we start at the top, and this week in the cover page request, we gotta talk about it because Reiju is in it. It's always good to see Reiju. It's been a while since we've seen her in the story, and in the cover page request we see a scorpion shooting his shot at Reiju with a cactus flower. So hey, props to the scorpion and we wish you the best of luck. But jumping into the chapter, we pick up right where we left off last chapter with Luffy's Kong Gatling on Kaido. And personally, I was very interested in how much damage this attack was going to do. In my most recent video on Kaido's durability, I talked about how despite the fact that Luffy knows advanced armament haki and he can injure Kaido, I don't think he's doing that much damage. And I believe that in order for Luffy to do some significant damage like Oden did, he needed to output more haki. And I do still believe that is one way he will grow in this battle, but I guess for now punching Kaido repeatedly does the same thing, because that's what Luffy does in this chapter. He is absolutely just pummeling Kaido over and over and over again, and everybody else is kind of just watching from the sidelines. All the Supernova, they're all still fine despite getting attacked by Big Mom, but right now they're just looking at Luffy doing all this damage to Kaido. The one reaction I really liked was Eustace Kid, who Oda specifically focused on. Through Kid's expressions, you could really tell that he's kind of gaining respect for Luffy. He's always been Luffy's rival, but he's never experienced just how strong Luffy can be, and he's now witnessing Gear 4th in full effect, and on top of that, Luffy is using advanced armament haki to damage Kaido. And his entire crew was devastated by Kaido just a few months ago, so he knows exactly how strong Kaido is. And I do think Oda is showcasing here that although Kid's portrayal has been high, he's not really a rival to Luffy. Luffy is always going to be one step ahead. And personally, that's how I've always viewed Kid. I didn't really see him as like Luffy's direct rival. I think that's more so Blackbeard. But yeah, Kid seeing Luffy attack Kaido right now, definitely a wake-up call on just how strong Luffy is. Another person that is really shocked at Luffy's power is Big Mom, and she's like really shook. And Big Mom's reaction is really telling just how far these people have grown, because Luffy has confronted her before already in her own territory, and she did not take him seriously at all. Even in Wano thus far, when Kaido has been attacked, she never took the people seriously. She knew Kaido had it handled. But now in the past 2 chapters, she's had a couple of phases where she's like, oh damn, this is getting real serious. So again, that just goes to show how much our main characters have grown. But we do have to remember that these are 2 Yonko that we are dealing with. After Luffy delivers the final blow, he's actually the one that passes out. At first, even Big Mom's kind of worried about Kaido, looking over is like, hey Kaido buddy, are you okay? But it turns out Kaido's actually okay, and Luffy's actually the one in trouble because his Gear 4 stamina limit still a thing. Now personally, I definitely did think that Luffy needed to grow his Gear 4th in this battle, maybe changing into different forms as he's fighting, showcasing another form entirely. But this whole stamina problem, I really thought we were past that point because of how many times he's already jumped in and out of Gear 4th and how early he used Gear 4th in this battle. But no, it's still very much a problem for him, and now he's completely vulnerable. After he passes out, Law's the one to really explain Luffy's powers and how he can't use haki anymore, and Kid gets a better understanding of just how Gear 4th works. I do like how Kid still respects Luffy, where he's like, well, if he's able to deal damage, it would have been all worth it. Also, I do want to point out that Law, knowing Luffy's limitations, maybe that's setting up him for a tragedy as well. We'll discuss that more in detail later when we get to the end, because honestly, I do think this rooftop gang is about to get a major wake-up call. But right now, Luffy is completely vulnerable. He's knocked out. Big Mom takes this opportunity and launches an attack, but of course, Zoro's there for his captain. He picks up Luffy, gets him out of the way, and I do gotta say, part of me is kind of disappointed in Luffy that he's made himself this vulnerable against 2 Yonko, but this is how Luffy fights. He goes all out and does the most that he can, and he still has friends that he can rely on. We already saw this kind of earlier in Onigashima when Pooh knocked out Luffy and Zoro saved him. So while it's a little frustrating to see Luffy making himself this vulnerable, like if Zoro wasn't there, he probably could have died and gotten seriously injured. But honestly, we just gotta look at this as a bonus for Zoro for being that reliable right hand that's there to save his captain. But as Luffy and Zoro get out of the way, Kid and Killer Killer start to take action. They see the opportunity here. Kaido just took all this damage from Luffy. He's kind of knocked down, and I really like Kid stepping up here. He's like, Killer, we gotta go take this opportunity and go kill Kaido right now. And I was getting really excited. I was like, okay, Kid, take action, take charge. Now is your time to shine. And he had a clear path to Kaido because Law actually goes up to Big Mom and hits her with a counter shock. So Kid and Killer had this straight path to Kaido. We already saw what Killer did. I wanted to see more from Kid, but of course we don't get that opportunity because why would Kid ever get any shine? Kaido just gets right back up and just launches a natural disaster with Dragon Twister and summons a bunch of tornadoes. And once again, this is like really hyping up the Yonko. These are people that could literally create these natural disasters. And seeing Kaido generate these tornadoes to knock Kid and Killer out of the way while Big Mom's lightning is still going on in the background, to me that just highlights even more the difference in strength of these Supernova against these two Yonko. These are people with enough power to like alter the weather essentially. Remember when they fought, they essentially like started splitting the skies. Well, now we're seeing firsthand exactly what kind of powers they're capable of. And while these tornadoes are not doing too much damage, they're kind of just knocking people back. Luffy does end up getting caught in one, and Kaido tries to eat him. I don't know if he took a page out of Big Mom's book or what, but like I did not expect him to just try to gob him down. But yeah, Luffy straight up just gets eaten by Kaido, but once again the right hand man is there, Roronoa Zoro, and he says, get your hands off my captain, and he goes in with another attack. This time it's a Santoryu attack, his own tornado attack, the Kokujo o Tatsumaki. He first showcased this attack back in Fishman Island. Essentially it's the upgraded version of Tatsumaki, and I really like that he countered a tornado with a tornado, because when I saw Kaido launch his attack I was like, hey, Zoro could kind of do that. He can't create multiple, but he could create one to maybe combat it, and that's exactly what Zoro did, and Luffy gets saved. Now once again there's some emphasis on Emma here that we do have to break down. If you missed my recent video on Emma's powers, I highly recommend you go check that out. In that video I analyze exactly how Emma works and how Zoro uses it to get stronger and why I think he's using it to use advanced armament haki right now. And from what we see in this chapter, my belief remains the same. Although it's a Santoryu attack this time, we still do see Emma in focus, and specifically we still see a sword aura around Emma. But as Zoro is preparing this attack, Kaido once again notices the sword. He can sense that the strength is coming from the sword. Now the official translation could change this a little bit, but either way the sword is not giving Zoro any additional powers. Kaido, if you're confused on the powers of Emma, go check out my video. But to me it makes sense that he's noticing that sword's energy because of its powers. It's still using Zoro's powers, but it's probably drawing out more haki than the other two blades. On top of that, that's Oden's old sword. It probably has some of his presence in it, and that's why Kaido is focusing on it. But let's talk about this attack because it's another attack that cuts Kaido, and this time Zoro does not miss and does not run out of breath. And personally, I actually think this attack is more impressive than the Flying Dragon Blaze. Don't get me wrong, the Flying Dragon Blaze had more power to it, but I don't think Zoro could quite control it. But this time he was in way more control, which allowed him to not wear himself out and actually land the attack. Now I do want to point out that although it's a Santoryu attack, we do see only a single slash, so it could be possible that it's only Emma cutting Kaido here, but it could be all three swords as well. Either way, I do think Emma is drawing out more of Zoro's powers to allow him to do this. Kaido also finally recognizes that it's Oden's sword because he could kind of feel the exact same energy, and again this makes sense because of the whole soul within the katana thing. Again, go watch the Emma video, I broke everything down in there. But yeah, Zoro cutting Kaido here, we should definitely not overlook it. I feel like a lot of us are because it's not that impactful of a panel, but notice the reactions of other people. Killer is very surprised that he's actually able to cut Kaido because he's experienced Kaido's durability himself. Even Big Mom is like, wow, he actually cut Kaido, that is crazy. So it's very impressive of what Zoro was able to do here, but I still don't think it's significant damage to Kaido. Kaido right now is still not even recognizing Zoro's ability. He focused a lot on Emma the sword, and when he's able to unleash that power with control and hit Kaido, that's when I think Kaido will recognize him as a samurai as great as Oden. The old wound will probably get opened up as well. That's when we'll get a really impactful panel and like really recognize what Zoro has accomplished. But yeah, after this attack, Kaido is not like bleeding out heavily or anything like that. He actually just counterattacks right away. He hits right back with a Dragon Twister Gale of Destruction, which honestly looks like the exact same attack he unleashed last chapter, and everybody's kind of able to just deflect this without any issue. And from there there, we move on to this interesting dialogue from the CP0. First, we actually see Orochi while the CP0 is saying that their supplier is dead. Now, I will say some people might point to this as saying Orochi is dead, look, his head is still there, but my counter is, where exactly is the body? See, personally, I don't believe Orochi is dead. I did a video on this a very long time ago, so I don't even know if that video is very good, but essentially because of Orochi's devil fruit, I think it's very likely that he's still alive, and I do think Orochi has more to give within the story. But moving on from that, the CP0 are currently assessing the situation. They bring up Doflamingo, which is really funny because he was actually originally supposed to be in Wano. But yeah, we get the reveal of the CP0 in Onigashima, and they essentially hammer home that the effects of this war are gonna be astronomical. See, the Yonko kind of balance each other out, but if you take out half of it, now there comes that struggle of power, the battle of the thrones that Doflamingo was talking about while in prison. So yeah, post Wano, things are really gonna ramp up and it's gonna be really hectic, and I really think we're gonna go straight to endgame after that. But through the CP0, we kind of get an update on everything that's happened in this war so far, and Oda represents it through this Go game that the CP0 are playing. The samurai side has lost 400 people versus the 3,000 people that the Beast Pirates have lost, and we also finally see Law's crew and Beppo and what they're up to. So there you go, people were wondering where Law's crew was and saying that his crew's trash. Well, Killer might have damaged Kaido and Zoro might have cut Kaido, but Beppo's over here knocking out 3,000 people by himself, and he hasn't even gone Sulong yet. But yeah, the samurai side is actually doing pretty well right now overall, but the CP0 point out the real problems of the Beast Pirates, and those are the executives. If they are unable to be taken out, the samurai side has no chance, and with that dialogue, we get some updates on everybody. Frankie's going at it with Sasaki, Sanji looks kind of beat up and like he's running away from something, so I hope that he's okay. Looks like Ulti is chasing after Nami, Usopp, and Tama. I'm guessing page 1 is right behind her. Jinbei also should be fighting Who's Who, but the most interesting one we saw was Yamato, and specifically Shinobu and Momonosuke behind Yamato are kind of looking out in the distance a little worried, and to me that signals somebody's coming near them to fight. And I do think this dialogue about the executives sets up individual fights for each and every one of them. I kind of broke it all down within my final Wano matchups video, so go check that out. But for Yamato specifically, I think the one coming to her is Jack. Jack is somebody who is always focused on the main mission at hand, and the person they have to take out right now is Momonosuke. So although Jack is injured, we haven't seen his hybrid form or anything like that. I think he has more left in the tank. So I think Jack versus Yamato will be a really good fight overall. On top of that, you got the history of Jack and Momonosuke adding to that. So yeah, it looks like throughout Onigashima, fights are being set up, which I felt like Oda needed to give us a little bit of an update. But I do think it's very important that he does it through a dialogue of the CP0. He's not specifically going to different scenes and giving us what's happening there, because I think if he did that, it would kind of take us out of the rooftop fight, and clearly that is what he wants our focus and attention on right now, and I do think that's setting up some sort of tragedy coming soon. But on the topic of CP0, whoever dies, whoever loses, it all benefits them and the world government. The title of this chapter is talking about how this Go board is essentially reflecting everything that is happening in this war. Well, guess who's playing the game? The CP0. At the end of the day, it's the world government that benefits from all of this. And I do think that's what the CP0's role in this war will be. They will likely not do anything until the final fight is over. And honestly, there's a lot to dive deep into with the CP0, so I'll probably do a separate video on this, because there's some theories to break down in regards how the CP0 are connected to Big Mom. And personally, I do believe that outside forces could get involved to combat them, like the Revolutionaries, Grand Fleets, or even Vegapunk. So although we don't really have to worry about the CP0 right now, they're definitely gonna be a big problem later. One thing that is interesting is that Bao Huang is with them, and it looks like she's working with them. And it's been speculated that Bao Huang is part of Who's Who's crew because of the eye on her mask. So honestly, I don't really know what the connection to all that is, so if you have any theories on that, definitely let me know in the comments. But let's get back to the final part of this chapter, which we go back to the rooftop and we see Luffy waking back up, and he sees that Kaido has changed forms. And once again, Oda hits us with the silhouette, but Kaido is finally going into hybrid form. And that's the end of the chapter, but guys, this rooftop gang, somebody's gotta die. The amount of emphasis that Oda is placing on this rooftop action, so much so that even when he jumps to other places, it's really quick snapshots. He's not even going to the scenes themselves. Clearly, this is where he wants our attention. And although the Supernova have gotten some attacks in and proven themselves a little bit, think about the situation we are in right now. Luffy, the strongest Supernova out of all of them, just ran out of gas. Meanwhile, Kaido just got serious and turned into his strongest form. So honestly, this might be another video that I made. So hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, definitely subscribe because there's gonna be a lot of content coming soon. But I really do believe that Oda is gonna deliver a major tragedy on the rooftop. That could definitely be Kid or Killer or Law or maybe even multiple people. Maybe Onigashima actually drops on Wano. There's a lot of possibilities. But overall, this was a really good chapter. Continuing on with the great action that we've seen for the last 2 chapters. Also, this reintroduction of CP0 and this terrific narration that they give. And of course, ending on this tease of Kaido going into hybrid form. So overall, for me, this was a damn good chapter. I couldn't quite put it as an absolute banger. I'm trying to set my standards a little higher now because I think in the coming chapters, we're really gonna get some absolute bangers. But what did you guys think of this chapter? Do you have any predictions for the next chapter? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button. To keep up with this channel, you gotta hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. Thank you to all my King Pirates Elite members on YouTube and Patreon for supporting this channel. Be sure to follow me on Twitch, I'm D Streams, and follow me on Twitter, I'm DKing4, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.